So here's a really quick explanation on how this works. To make this starter a temporary 24-volt system, you're going to simply go from the frame of the bike to the negative of battery 1, from the positive of battery 1, back to the solenoid, from the other side of the solenoid, back to the negative of battery 2, then from the positive of battery 2, back to the starter, and then from the starter to the frame of the bike. So when you engage the starter button, you're technically only adding the second battery in series with the first battery momentarily. Once the starter button is released, then your stator and essentially your bike system only knows that one battery is in play. The other one is essentially isolated. So this little thin battery number 2 is isolated. So then what I do is I have a green Optimate Quick Connect for battery 1. They give you cool little color-coded end caps. So battery 2 would have a red one. So after a ride, I'm going to, no matter what, charge both batteries. That's the charger that I like to use. They give you a little black and a green end cap. But essentially the bike is running off 12 volts all the time. And then you're just going to have that momentary burst of 24 volts to the starter. The starter, typically is going to have a 12 volt hit to it, and then it's going to have somewhat of a, voltage drop on the battery, depending upon if you have a high compression head or not, thin base gasket, whatever your mods are. I have an S3 head, thin base gasket, a couple things done to this bike that seems to rapidly wear the stock starter system. So I got tired of, messing with this thing for years. So now it's essentially instantaneous. Boom, the bike starts. The bike's completely cold right now. That's a cold bike, 47 degrees. The garage temperature is 67, maybe vice versa. Either way, I like this. We'll see about longevity. I would imagine with such a small duration on the starter, we shouldn't have any premature starter issues with it wearing out, but it's hard to say, only time will tell.